come together as one. They say you not there, we stand, the there we fight. If we not celebrate, we do it for you. Voila, you forget that. You from Lova Country, you from Maryland. Voila, you from Rewa Says. I'm a bad guy, we own your people. I walk on the fine way. Tabila, Kriwako. I love la Biblia, oh yeah yeah. Free land on liberty, la Biblia, oh yeah yeah. I love la Biblia, oh yeah yeah. Play for me and you, la Biblia, oh yeah yeah. We stand by that.
I was raised in the swamp, but I chilled with my guns. Stepping on the low, but we far from the bones. True son of the soil, I'm a prince in my own. Never gonna lie, me, I love the love beat. Even though it's far, when we show we can face it. It's not a prophecy, I know that we can rise again. Holding my hand, I hold in your own. United, we stand, divided, we fall. So that's what I say when I count with ball. When I chill on that side, and I get no bro. I got L to the O to the V and the E. If we fight it together, we can conquer this team. On the east to the west, then waving the flag from the north to the side. Yeah, that's joining the team. You go, you tell her, you come out proud. Who get it?
I love la Biblia, oh yeah yeah. Free land on liberty, la Biblia, oh yeah yeah. I love la Biblia, oh yeah yeah. Play for me and you, la Biblia, oh yeah yeah.
Mama was born, yeah. Papa was born, yeah. The poets together, the Harry boy, yeah. La balike na koya back, yeah.
Together we can conquer this team. From the east to the west, then waving the flag from the north to the side. Yeah, that's joining the team. You go, you fella, you come out crowd. Who get it? Who got it?
I love la Biblia, oh yeah yeah. Free land on liberty, la Biblia, oh yeah yeah. I love la Biblia, oh yeah yeah. Play for me and you, la Biblia, oh yeah yeah.
Mama was born, yeah. Papa was born, yeah. The poets together, the Harry boy, yeah. La balike na koya back, na papa, oh. La balike na koya back, na papa, oh. Na bali pola po, na papa, oh. Na bali pola po, na papa, oh. La biro waka poma, oh. La biro waka poma, oh. Amanda, no work, come out. I know
from the east to the west, north to the south, yeah, let's come together as one. They say united we stand, divided we fight. If we not celebrate, we do it for you. Voila, you forget that. You from Lova Country, you from Maryland. Voila, you from Rewa Says. I'm a bad guy, we own your people. I walk on the fine way. Tabila, Kriwako. I love la Biblia, oh yeah yeah. Free land on liberty, la Biblia, oh yeah yeah. I love la Biblia, oh yeah yeah. Play for me and you, la Biblia, oh yeah yeah. I love la Biblia, oh yeah yeah. Free land on liberty, la Biblia, oh yeah yeah. I love la Biblia, oh yeah yeah. Play for me and you, la Biblia, oh yeah yeah.
Master Square on the mix.
Check it out, I like this one.
From the east to the west, north to the south, yeah, let's come together as one. They say united we stand, divided we fight. If we not celebrate, we do it for you. Voila, you forget that. You from Lova Country, you from Maryland. Voila, you from Rewa Says. I'm a bad guy, we own your people. I walk on the fine way. Tabila, Kriwako. I love la Biblia, oh yeah yeah. Free land on liberty, la Biblia, oh yeah yeah. I love la Biblia, oh yeah yeah. Play for me and you, la Biblia, oh yeah yeah.
I was raised in the swamp, but I chilled with my guns. Kept on the low, but we fought for the bones. True son of the soil, I'm a prince in my own. Never gonna lie, me, I love the love beat. Even though it's far, when we show we can face it. It's not a prophecy, I know that we can rise again. Holding my hand, I hold in your own. United we
set the agenda and seek input in the positive direction of our country.
Open conversation, robust, interactive, and analytical current affairs program on ELBC Radio, setting out to critically analyze and review trending issues of our time.
The noise is just too much on the air, and we are here to refine and set the agenda on open conversation. Let's start the conversation right now. Tonight and every weekday, we set the agenda and seek input in the positive direction of our country.
Open conversation, robust, interactive, and analytical current affairs program on ELBC Radio, setting out to critically analyze and review trending issues of our time.
The noise is just too much on the air, and we are here to refine and set the agenda on open conversation. Let's start the conversation right now.
Welcome to Open Conversation on ELBC Radio and, of course, online. Tonight is the Maiden Edition of Open Conversation, where we set the agenda and seek your input on the positive direction of our country. We are here to critically analyze trending issues and talk about key national issues. My name is Tete Gebro, and I'll be with you until 10 o'clock of this evening. Hats up to my colleague who should have been here, but too bad, too sad that he lost his father this morning, and he can be with us this evening. But our condolences to Washington Tete. Soon he will be with us on Open Conversation. But I'm here, and I'm sure that you're there, and we will roll together. So if you're watching us on our social media page, we'd like to welcome you this evening to that's Open Conversation on ELBC Radio. Whatever part of the world you are watching us or following us from, we'd like to say welcome to Open Conversation. Like we said, we will set the agenda. We're talking about trending issues, but let's take a short break. And when we come back, I will introduce to you those who are going to be joining me this evening on Open Conversation. We will be talking about the passage of the that is the drug law that was passed by the legislature recently. That is what we're going to be talking about. When we say key national issues, that's the discussion for tonight. And I will have a co-panelist joining us to talk about that. Let's take a short break. When we're back, I will tell you who are joining me this evening on Open Conversation to talk about the passage of the drug law in Liberia. And also, following that, we will discuss the trending issues of today, and then we move on. Stay with us. This is Open Conversation on ELBC Radio and online.
From the east to the west, north to the south, let's come together as one. They say united we stand, divided we fight. If we not celebrate, we do it for you. Voila, you forget it, you from Lower Country, you from Maryland. Voila, you from Rewa City. I'm a bad dad, we own your people. I walk on the fine way. Tabila, I love Liberia, oh yeah yeah. Free land and liberty, Liberia, oh yeah yeah. Oh yeah, I love Liberia, oh yeah yeah. They play for me and you, Liberia, oh yeah yeah. Oh yeah yeah.
I was raised in the slum, but I chilled with my guns. Kept it on the low, but we fought for the bones. True son of the soil, I'm a prince in my own. Never gonna lie, me, I love LIB. Even though it's far, when we show we can face it. It's not a prophecy, I know that we can rise again. Holding my hand, I hold in your own. United we stand, divided we fall. You know what I say when I come with ball. When I chillin' on that side, and I get no bro. I got L to the O to the V and the E. If we fighting together, we can conquer this team. From the east to the west, then waving the flag from the north to the side. You're not joining the team. You go where you pella, you love my crown. Who kill it? Who got John?
I love Liberia, oh yeah yeah. Free land and liberty, Liberia, oh yeah yeah. Oh yeah, I love Liberia, oh yeah yeah. They play for me and you, Liberia, oh yeah yeah. Oh yeah yeah.
Mama was born, yeah. was born, yeah. They hold us together, the honey boy, yeah. Nabalike na koya bake na papa bro. Nabalike na koya bake na papa bro. Nabalike la bro.
Set the agenda and seek input in the positive direction of our country.
Open conversation, robust, interactive, and analytical current affairs program on ELBC Radio, setting out to critically analyze and review trending issues of our time.
The noise is just too much on the air, and we are here to refine and set the agenda on open conversation. Let's start the conversation right now. Tonight and every weeknight, we set the agenda and seek input in the positive direction of our country.
Open conversation, robust, interactive, and analytical current affairs program on ELBC Radio, setting out to critically analyze and review trending issues.
More from the east to the west, north to the south, yeah, let's come together as one. They say united we stand, divided we fight. If we not celebrate, we do it for
you. And thanks for joining us. My name is Tete Gebro, as I said earlier, and we'll be looking at trending issues. But before that, let me tell you who will be joining us this evening on Open Conversation to talk about the drugs law. We will have with us in studio Madam Josephine Koluba, a social media influencer, a humanitarian, and actress. She runs a popular show online that is known as Coffee with Jojo. I'm sure if you are a social media freak, you will understand and know who Jojo is. She deals with people who do drugs. At-risk youth are people who she deals with. And so we will be talking to her this evening to know her field, the kind of work she does with these people, and what she thinks about the passage of the drug law by the national legislature. Today also, we will be talking concerning the drugs to the Minister of Youth and Sports. Minister D. Zilga Wilson will also join us online this evening to talk about the drug law, the passage, and we want to know from him, when does he think President Weah is going to put pen to paper, because that is, a boost for Liberia now that the legislature has passed this one drug law into a motion. This has been languishing behind, not bars, but at the legislature since 2019. And so with the passage, we want to know from the Minister of Youth and Sports, this minister who takes care of young people in this country, what he thinks, what he makes of that, and when does he think President Weah is going to, sign it into law so that it can be printed into handbill, because as it goes, then people who are doing drugs, that offense will be a non-billable offense. And of course, you know what that is going to mean for the young people who are, taken away, this whole generation that is taken away as a result of drugs. We will also have with us to discuss that this afternoon the proponent of that bill, and he's none other than Representative Thomas Goshua. He's also going to tell us what happened, because, since 2019, that bill has been at the legislature. What did he do to make sure that, it came on the floor? And, there were two conference committees from the Senate and the lower house. What happened? What went into play? What does he think now that that law has been passed? We will also get his view this evening on Open Conversation. But before that, we will talk about trending national issues in our country. So what's trending? His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Liberia, is in Israel. He and his delegation arrived in Israel today. We're told that they visited some historical sites to talk about the Garden of Gethsemane. If you have ever been to Israel, then you know exactly what we're talking about. The president also visited the tomb of Jesus Christ, the Western Wall. This is a place where, because I visited the Western Wall, so I know exactly what happens there. People go and pray, and it is believed that whatever prayers you offer over there, God is set to answer you. That is the belief. And we are told that His Excellency offer prayers for the country, for peaceful elections, for the economy of Liberia, and that is a good thing. And he is expected also to meet with the Israeli Prime Minister tomorrow, Benjamin Netanyahu. His Excellency is expected to meet with him. We're told that he has received some prestigious awards from the Israeli government. And so that is it. His Excellency is out of the country. We know that he is on a 3-day visit to Israel, and he will be back soon. But so far, so good. That's what has happened in Israel. That's what's trending. Yesterday, I know that it was the 55th birth anniversary of Senator Yombli Kanga Lawrence, and something happened. The Unity Party named its campaign team for 2024, 2023, 2024. As we go to elections, we will delve into that. We'll tell you those who were named on the campaign team of the Unity Party. But later on the program, we will be speaking live with the chairman of the collaborating political parties, that is Chairman Musa Beliti. CPP has it's I want to say I think it has ended. It should be from June 29 to July 2nd. That's what we're told, that they had a convention in the U.S. So we'll be getting updates from Chairman Belity later on in the program. We'll have him live on the show. So it promises to be a very good one. Stay with us. This is Open Conversation on ELBC Radio. But what's trending also, I told you we'll come back to that. Another trending issue here is that the Unity Party has named her not running, but campaign team for this October elections. So let's hear who are some of those people who were named last evening. We're told that they gathered yesterday to raise up to 300,000. We're told that money is for pool washers, but what we heard is that they have raised 100,000. Well, we will also want to know whether that 100,000 that was raised, whether is some addition to what was raised in America when Senator Yombli Kanga Lawrence went there or not. We don't know, but as far as we know, we're told that they raised 100,000 last night at the Farmington Hotel. But let's see who all are making this campaign team, and then we will give our take concerning that. So let me just wear my goggles to see whether I can see this very clearly. Members of the rescue campaign team, we know that the chairperson announced last night was Yombli Kanga Lawrence, and other members of the campaign team include Senator Prince Moyi as campaign manager, a businessman and former UP National Chairman Amin Modat as National Vice Chair for Planning and Research, Maryland County Senator James Panning as National Vice Chair for Administration, Madam Mandela Cooper as Vice Chair for Rescue Mobilization, Mr. Tanalai Vapla, Vice Chair for Technical Affairs, and Moali, official campaign spokesperson. The rest of them include Montserrat County Senator Ibrahim Darius Dillon as member of the campaign team responsible to deliver Montserrat. We'll talk a little bit about that. Ibrahim Darius Dillon, who seems to have, lost his political clout. Sorry, can he deliver Montserrat County? It's another discussion for another day. Other members. Mr. Ama Zulu Jala, that's a former senator, member, Senator Boto Kane, member, Councillor Cooper Kra, member, Mr. Sano Dazzle Johnson, another former senator, member, Professor Alaric Togba, member, Madam Miata Famule, and Mr. Jacob Jala campaign liaison. As we're told, more names are going to come up, but let's look at these names that were named last evening. Like I said, they said they raised 100,000 and they're set to raise 300,000 so that they can be able to pay their pool washers. But let's look at a little bit. Let's talk about it a little bit, and later on, I'll open up the lines for you to make your input before we transition to key national issues this evening on Open Conversation. The political leader, the campaign chair, who was the former political leader of the Liberty Party. What does Yombli Kanga Lawrence bring to the table? Somebody says to me that that campaign team is dead upon arrival, because even the person who is leading the campaign team seems not to have any clout. Does she have any constituents? Where is a constituents? Is it Grand Bassa County? And if it's Grand Bassa County, Grand Bassa doesn't seem to be that county that is for Yombli Kanga Lawrence again alone, because we can all put the cards together. Yombli Kanga Lawrence narrowly won. She fought to become a senator. She narrowly won by 2,000 votes. She won Senator Bezenga Finley the last elections. And knowing who Senator Yombli Kanga Lawrence is, not being a part of the Liberty Party anymore and joining the Unity Party, there are so many people now who are from the Liberty Party in Grand Bassa County who are going to support the Liberty Party in Grand Bassa County. So that county is divided also already. The ruling party, the ruling establishment, has a grip in Grand Bassa County because they are the ruling establishment. John J. Vakwe, who is the superintendent of that county, is not sitting down. He's not taking anything lying down. And so he's going to do his job. And let's talk about the real Liberty Party phase. You can rule Senator, the former Senator Brumskin out of the whole thing, even though he's dead, but he was the face of Liberty Party. And with his daughter, his daughter now joining the CPP and becoming a vice standard bearer for with Alexander Cummings, she would take her share of the votes. So Yombli Kanga Lawrence, we are told that she has said that she's going to deliver a one-round victory to Unity Party. How possible is that? How popular is Senator Yombli Kanga Lawrence? What is her constituents? I continue to ask, because look at the women groupings in Liberia. One Gosa, Whipnet. When you hear all of those names, we don't know how close Yombli Kanga Lawrence is to these people. Which one of the women groupings has have we heard that Yombli Kanga Lawrence is associated with? What has she done when she assumed leadership of the as political leader of the Liberty Party? She's never had any, campaign, or let's say a political trip across the country to know that this woman has a constituents that people are going to follow her. We're just looking at who is the face of the campaign team of the Unity Party. How does she rally women? Does she have a thing with women in Liberia? Where is her constituents? Because she's a female, and so that face is going out there. But I'm just thinking about her constituents in Liberia. She has a grouping in Grand Bassa County. Everything is about Grand Bassa, but mind you, now she is going to be fighting a lot of people in Grand Bassa County because she is not going on the Liberty Party ticket. She's not running on the Liberty Party ticket. She is just a member of the Unity Party and seen as the face. Is Grand Bassa alone going to deliver, the presidency to Joseph Yuman Boaka? I say no. And even in Grand Bassa County, she doesn't have the whole Grand Bassa to her feet. or to her disposal because she has to fight with a lot of people. She's not managed Liberty Party well, you know. You can say this, you can say that, but she has not. She has never had an official county tour, like I said, as a political leader of the Liberty Party, where she has rallied people. So where is she going? How does the layman in Nuclear Town in West Point, how do they, come to grasp with the name Yomli Kanga? And so we kind of think about, we think this whole thing about Yomli Kanga Lawrence being the face of the campaign. Many people, critics are already beginning to say that that was a wrong pick by the standard bearer of the Unity Party. Let's look at Abraham Darius Dillon. How come? Where he is the face of Montserrat County, has he lost the political relevance? He is just a member of this team. And I must admit, whether we like it or not, Senator Bani is a member of this team. When you talk about strong people, yeah, he's a strong man. Prince Moyi, yes, he's a strong man on the team. But the face of the team, Yombli Kanga Lawrence, who doesn't have a constituents around the country, political pundits are saying that, it's a big mistake. Where we coming from with what is his name? Somebody says they're all wine in new bottles, in new bottle, because what can Mandela Cooper bring to the table? You tell me, you who are listening, and I will give you time to call in. What can Sandra Johnson, who just lost election, what does he bring to the table? Amazulu Jala, he just lost elections, also the gone elections. These are people who are packed. Mo Ali would have done even much better than Yomli Kanga Lawrence. Has Joseph Human Boaka lost it again? Has he made a right choice or the wrong choice? It's for you and myself to ponder over. That's what's trending. And later on, shortly, we'll see whether we can get the chairman of the Liberty Party, sorry, not the chairman of the Liberty Party, but the CPP, Musa Belete, who we will talk to concerning their convention in the U.S. Cummings. Alexander Cummings, the standard bearer of the CPP, is in the U.S. and they're having a convention. We will be talking to Musa Belete to know exactly what's unfolding in that part of the world when it comes to the CPP. But that is it. We've read the names of those who are on the campaign team for the Unity Party. And Senator Yomli Kanga Lawrence, like I said, I don't know whether it's the right pick. Pundits are saying that pick is not a right pick. Most of the people on the team don't represent, they're just all whining new party. And the person who's leading the charge, the person who's leading the team does not have the political poise. She's not well known she's known in Montserrat County, but around the country. And since she took leadership of the Liberty Party, she has not had, correct me if I'm wrong, but she has not had an official county tour to, abreast herself with the people across the country. When it comes to women issues, you don't find Yomli Kaga Lawrence there. How are the women going to rally to vote for her or to vote for Unity Party? How is she going to rally women to vote for Joseph Human Boaka when she herself has not put herself out there? Anytime you hear that Yomli Kanga says something, is something that is making news, whether somebody has, done something that is against that will make the government look unpopular. That is what she throws herself out there to join in, just to gain political relevance. But to say she stands a cause for people, she wants to see to it that women get better lives. We don't know Yomli Kanga Lawrence. The Liberian women don't know Yomli Kanga Lawrence when it comes to that. She is not that person who is out there. When we talk about women who are, compare Yomli Kanga Lawrence with Lima Bowie, compare her with Ruth Caesars, compare her with Angie Brooks Randall. These are women who, when you're talking about people who stood in the gap for other women, you can count them, you can call their names, but not the name Yomli Kanga Lawrence. And I'm talking about women issues because that is the reason why I believe, they have put her out there, but she needs to do more. Whether the time she has from now to elections is enough, well, that is anybody's guess. But Yomli Kanga Lawrence, that name, the face of the campaign, theme of the Unity Party doesn't resonate with the ordinary market woman because she has not, stood the cause for women in this country. Well, that's how I feel about it. Anybody can differ with me, but we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we'll see whether we can connect with Chairman Musa Ability, talk a little bit about that. Then we get back into our main discussion for this evening. That is the passage of the drug law. Stay with us. This is Open Conversation, and the conversation is open. You can have your input on the show. Please stay with us.
Tonight and every weeknight, we set the agenda and seek your input on the positive direction of our country.
Open Conversation, a robust, interactive, and analytical current affairs program on ELBC Radio, setting out to critically analyze and review trending issues of our time.
The noise is just too much on the air, and we are here to refine and set the agenda on open conversation. Let's start the conversation right now. Tonight and every weeknight, we set the agenda and seek your input on the positive direction of our country.
Open Conversation, a robust, interactive, and analytical current affairs program on ELBC Radio, setting out to critically analyze and review trending issues of our time.
The noise is just too much on the air, and we are here to refine and set the agenda on open conversation. Let's start the conversation right now. Tonight and every weeknight, we set the agenda and seek your input on the positive direction of our country.
Open Conversation, a robust, interactive, and analytical current affairs program on ELBC Radio, setting out to critically analyze and review trending issues of our time.
The noise is just too much on the air, and we are here to refine and set the agenda on open conversation. Let's start the conversation right now. Tonight and every weeknight, we set the agenda and seek your input on the positive direction of our country.
Open Conversation, a robust, interactive, and analytical current affairs program on ELBC Radio, setting out to critically analyze and review trending issues of our time.
The noise is just too much on the air, and we are here to refine and set the agenda on open conversation. Let's start the conversation right now. Tonight and every weeknight, we set the agenda and seek your input on the positive direction of our country.
Open Conversation, a robust, interactive, and analytical current affairs program on ELBC Radio, setting out to critically analyze and review trending issues of our time.
The noise is just too much on the air, and we are here to refine and set the agenda on open conversation. Let's start the conversation right now. Tonight and every weeknight, we set the agenda and seek your input on the positive direction of our country.
Open Conversation, a robust, interactive, and analytical current affairs program on ELBC Radio, setting out to critically analyze and review trending issues of our time.
The noise is just too much on the air, and we are here to refine and set the agenda on open conversation. Let's start the conversation right now.
And of course, this is Open Conversation right now on ELBC Radio and online. Shortly, we will have Chairman Musa Ability live on the line. But we've talked about two issues right now. His Excellency is in Israel, and he will be meeting the Israeli Prime Minister tomorrow. You heard that he has visited some historical sites, and he's prayed for the nation, for the peace of the nation. And tomorrow he will be in conversation with Israeli Prime Minister, and I'm sure some goodies will come out for the country. Unity Party has named her campaign team. It's about time we open up the lines. We will interact with you for a few minutes, and then we take chairmanability. Our guests are already those to be the one in studio is already in studio, and the others are already online. We'll just entertain your calls for a few minutes on the trending issues of today, and then we transition to our guests. So it's the number to call is on the screen, and 0880514-096 to participate on the show. Call us on 0880514-096, and you'll be a part of conversation, open conversation right here on ELBC Radio. And if you are watching the show or following the show online, you can also call us on that number, and we will also entertain your calls this evening on Open Conversation. Shortly, we will join chairmanability, and then we will talk about the CPP convention in the U.S., and then we go to our guests to talk about the drug law that was passed into law by the legislature, and hopefully all eyes are on His Excellency to sign that law, and so that we can have some people who are going to be going against this law so that they can find themselves behind bars. Let's talk to our very first caller this evening. Hello. Okay, that person is off the line. Hello.
Yeah.
Tell us your name and where you're joining us from. Hello. Well, I don't seem to be getting that person. Let's see if we can get this one. Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, this is Tete Gebro.
Welcome to Open Conversation.
Yes, sir, I started to go to the Unity Party. Well, that you made one mistake. We support your brother, the fullest, your brother, the next president you feel abroad. We tired suffering.
Thank you.
We can't live in the time of poverty with next president.
What kind of poverty are you living in? What kind of poverty are you living in?
But when I got to many whole country, German country, some of the president.
Let's go to the issue. Let's go to the issue.
Okay, we will deliver Mr. Rado to Dow Dilo and the Unity Party.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, thank you. Sorry, that person is off the line. 0880514-096. Let's see if we can take this other person. Hello.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, this is Patrick Afro-Wayanyan the second. I'm calling from Kibudi Avenue, Ria.
It's good to hear you, Patrick.
Yeah, first of all, I want to appreciate the evening and want to say Boaka is a man who doesn't make politics on his own. The reason is that Nyombi Kanka today, if you look at the political structure of Nyombi Kanka, ascending to the Senate today in this country, is because of sympathetic vote that the Bazodi voted for us, because they thought that nobody could achieve the legacy of the late child Walker Bronsky. Today, nobody can actually had no contribution, even in her own village, what they call Kankatan, after this village. She had no contribution. So why would he bring such a person as a captain a chair? Nobody who is not contributing to nothing in this country. Even Basel that she's from. People there, you don't even know her to be anybody into society. So Waka is a failure. So you continue to bring people who are failure on board. Thank you for the time.
Thank you for joining us on Open Conversation. Let's hear you. Hello. That person is off the line. Let's see whether we can get this one. Hello. Good evening. Welcome to Open Conversation.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah, I just want to say in my turbulent discussion. But let me tell you, GT, all you people that become biased to the CDC comment. What if if Joseph Burger brings Gumby, no, I can be chair, will still vote Joseph Burger. If that didn't be can be chair for Mother, I will still vote Burger. So you need here to be matter everything all around. Oh, yeah, I've been biased to the CDC comment.
When you say bias, what do you mean?
Yeah, but people need to listen to you, you just
Guess you're listening. That's why you called.
yeah, but
So let's go to
people
the
need to
issue.
listen
When
to
you say bias, what do you mean?
yes, because you're not speaking like generally, you're speaking like you only campaign for CBC.
So what is your opposition to what I've said? You haven't said anything. What Yomli Kanga Lawrence, where is her constituents? How does she deliver Unity Party to
She will deliver.
how is she gonna do that?
She will do that.
Okay,
Maybe
thank
that
you.
move.
Thank you. Hello. So let's talk about the issues. It's not about me. It's about your campaign. A person convinced me that she can deliver. This is her her trademark. This is what she has done, and we believe that she can do this. That is it. That's conversation, open conversation. Tell us how you think she can do that. Hello. Yes. Hello.
Yeah, I am on the phone for calling from Bapolo County, Daman Town.
Let's hear you, sir.
Oh, thank you for the platform on discussion this night, madam. I listened keenly. You laid the basis about Unity Party. But I want to know, are you...
Hello? Well, hello? Anyway, maybe it's network. Let me take this person. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
You're live. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I'm running from the country.
Let's hear you.
Yeah, I want to tell you about that law, how it sounds. I think it will not work.
So we will talk about the drug law later on, not now. Thank you very much. Call us later on.
Okay. That's because I hear you something.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later on. Just keep listening, sir. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, this is Lindsay, and I join you from our residence in school.
Let's see.
So the thing is that it baffles me. I'm yet to understand this whole rescue mission. Honorable Ambassador Abubakar served as agriculture minister. He did not rescue our agricultural sector. The country he comes from, which is the breadbasket of the Republic of Nigeria, he find that sector so that today our country can depend or fully rely on that country for food and supply our economy. And they are coming out to say they want to rescue or Liberia. What is the rescue all about? Thank you very much.
Okay, Senator Yomli Kanga Lawrence says she will give him a 1-round victory. We're just looking at hello. We're looking at her. Hello, you're live. Go ahead.
Yeah, Moses Ojiri.
Okay, Moses, let's hear you.
Yeah, analytically, Yomli Kanga has nothing to offer to the team. When you look at the campaign that was won by her in Grand Basso Sunday again, but Maiden Edition, everyone manipulated. We see a vote that as she slightly one way, it was vote that was given by ANC. There is no, she had no political residue or political involvement in Grand Basso to deliver Grand Basso to Unity Party. Nothing.
Okay.
You look at you just take a slide or a look. What is going on in the whole affair? Everything that she does or everything that she involved into is about personal gain. Look at the judge law. Look at the act are talking about female gender-based violence. She has to speak on those issues.
Okay, sir.
As a
Thank you
leader,
so much.
she should be in the forefront to speak on things that are accepted by ladies.
for nothing. Anything that you speak on is thing about that of personal gain. So grandmother Kano is what we saw. Grandmother Kano is going to deliver to the ANC, and the CPP ticket or Council Chawaga Brodsky and Bikumis.
Okay.
No space for your party and grandmother Kano. Thank you.
Okay, so let's hear this person shortly. We will conclude the calls here, but hello.
Yeah, good evening to you and good evening to the 611 people of Liberia. I'm Anshon Baku of the Shefa, most of the country.
Let's hear you, sir.
Today, you are said it all. I was one of those who campaigned for Madam Kanga Law in 2013. Today, in our country, in our district, there's nothing that you can show for the Madam. Let's get some of our video last night. I commented on it because I told her, I said, nobody, if today you cannot celebrate your birthday in Batavia, St. John, Gebro, those places where it's hard to reach. And you went there last week and told the people who are sending their brother for all the brain and go here. What you have done in our country, just the Kenyan city, you can't choose anything for you. But like, that will always be there. Because so city, they are city. So young guys don't want to learn anything on their own. Every day, even if your country, they how many of us young people in Labrador qualify or are prepared to work? Every day, we still doing nothing. People depending on women or take little money or let's say taking care and doing so many unnecessary things.
Okay.
But however, by the grace of God, our God will really let our family. Thank you for the show.
Okay, so I want you guys to call. You are opposed to what we're saying, and you think that Yomli Kanga Lawrence, a senator, has, the political powers to deliver Liberia to Joseph Boakai. It's your time to call and let's talk about the issues, because these are the issues. What is her, record in Grambassa, in Mansuratu? What do you know Yomli Kanga Lawrence for? Because she is the face of the campaign of the Unity Party. How can she deliver this country to Joseph Boakai? And she promised a one-round victory. For me, I covered the legislature before now, and I worked with senators and lawmakers at the national legislature. Yomli Kanga Lawrence is not that person who is sociable. And I can say that for free because I covered the legislature. And so Yomli Kanga Lawrence has to, you who say she is the face of the campaign team, politics is interest. People have to be interested in people before they can rally them to your team. Is it a political blunder again on the part of Joseph Yuman Boakai to select Yomli Kanga Lawrence? Madam Kanga Lawrence herself knows that all of these women groupings in Liberia, you can't say that Wongoza, the women of Wongoza, will come up and say, yes, we stand up for Yomli Kanga Lawrence. This woman has done this. She has associated with us in this way or in that way. When we're talking about key political figures in Liberia, and when it comes to women issues, Yomli Kanga Lawrence is not the name. And I'm saying it because, and I will say it times without number, that because you want her, the Unity Party wants her to appeal to the consciences of women. But how can she do that when all of the time she stayed as political leader of the Liberty Party? She further divided Liberty Party, then brought Liberty Party together. And if you ask Charlene Brumskin, who is running on the CPP ticket, she will tell you that Yomli Kanga Lawrence has not, set the pace for me to follow, but rather, try to fight and make sure that I go far away. So people must be role models for people to follow. That's what we're talking about here. And so if you ask a party, a political party waiting to seek state, power, and you have this person who is the face of your campaign and doesn't appeal to the consciences of other women, then I think, you have a problem there. So, this is open conversation, and we still are not able to get chairmanability. I think we will, conclude this section and then get to our guests who are already eagerly waiting to join in the program. Let's take a short break, and we will be right back. We'll be here tomorrow. Probably we will speak with chairmanability concerning the convention there in the U.S. He just said that we should give him 5 minutes, but it's more than 10 minutes now, so we can keep waiting. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we will go into our main topic for discussion this evening on Open Conversation.
Tonight and every weeknight, we set the agenda and seek your input on the positive direction of our country.
Open Conversation, a robust, interactive, and analytical current affairs program on ELBC Radio, setting out to critically analyze and review trending issues of our time.
The noise is just too much on the air, and we are here to refine and set the agenda on open conversation. Let's start the conversation right now. Tonight and every weeknight, we set the agenda and seek your input on the positive direction of our country.
Open Conversation, a robust, interactive, and analytical current affairs program on ELBC Radio, setting out to critically analyze and review trending issues of our time.
The noise is just too much on the air, and we are here to refine and set the agenda on open conversation. Let's start the conversation right now. Tonight and every weeknight, we set the agenda and seek your input on the positive direction of our country.
Open Conversation, a robust, interactive, and analytical current affairs program on ELBC Radio, setting out to critically analyze and review trending issues of our time.
The noise is just too much on the air, and we are here to refine and set the agenda on open conversation. Let's start the conversation right now. Tonight and every weeknight, we set the agenda and seek your input on the positive direction of our country.
Open Conversation, a robust, interactive, and analytical current affairs program on ELBC Radio, setting out to critically analyze and review trending issues of our time.
The noise is just too much on the air, and we are here to refine and set the agenda on open conversation. Let's start the conversation right now. Tonight and every weeknight, we set the agenda and seek your input on the positive direction of our country.
Open Conversation, a robust, interactive, and analytical current affairs program on ELBC Radio, setting out to critically analyze and review trending issues of our time.
The noise is just too much on the air, and we are here to refine and set the agenda on open conversation. Let's start the conversation right now. Tonight and every weeknight, we set the agenda and seek your input on the positive direction of our country.
Open Conversation, a robust, interactive, and analytical current affairs program on ELBC Radio, setting out to critically analyze and review trending issues of our time.
The noise is just too much on the air, and we are here to refine and set the agenda on open conversation. Let's start the conversation right now.
Welcome back to Open Conversation right here on ELBC Radio. And we have the chairman of the CPP live now, Chairman Musa Ability, and we're going to talk to him for a few minutes and then transition into our main topic for discussion. Chairman Ability, how are you? Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Didi. And thank you for the show, by the way.
Thank you for joining us. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm thankful to God Almighty. And thank you for inviting me.
And it's good to have you on a very short notice. We appreciate that. How is the convention going? You have concluded, right? Because I saw from June 29 to the 2nd of July.
Okay. Yeah, the CPP convention is over. I think it was very successful. Liberians from across the United States converged in the city of brotherly love for the first time under the banners of the CPP. And we talked, they discuss politics.
Well, I think I need to take a short break. I'm not getting Chairman Ability as clear as I should. So,
is it better?
Yeah, just a little bit.
You think it's from me or you think it's from your connection?
Okay, I think I'm hearing you now.
You much better?
Go. Yeah, better.
Okay. Yes, so it was good. Good interaction. The standard bearer and the vice standard bearer interacted with the people, got on the, went to the field, talked to the people in the shop, just to know how Liberians feel about their country, what they want a coming presidency to show. And I think, it was good. So, back home here, we're happy. We put things together. We're getting ready to kick off our campaign.
Are you, sorry to hold you there, are you in the U.S. or you back home in Monrovia?
I'm back home. I'm in Monrovia. I'm speaking to
you. Okay, so you're just following the convention closely?
Yes, of course. The convention is reporting to me on an hourly basis as chairman of the CPP. So, yes.
So what is the meat of this convention? I'm not sure I got that clearly. What exactly, what did he go to the U.S. to raise fund, or what are the specifics?
The convention, first, the CPP USA convention, first and foremost, is a legal requirement of the CPP chapter. They must have a convention before the general election, which help to legitimize their leadership, set their agenda, their goals, which they did successfully. The standard bearer, the vice standard bearer, and our senatorial aspirant for Grand Bassa County, President Finlay, were on hand to make remarks. So yes, it was more about fulfilling the legal requirement of the CPP USA, which is required to have a convention at this time. And then after that...
In the U.S.?
In the U.S., yes. It is CPP USA. It's an external...
So is it like showcasing your standard bearer and vice standard bearer to your constituents in the U.S. and it's a legal requirement?
Yes. If we have a political party, collaborating political party, all of the political parties in Liberia, most of them have a USA chapter. So just as a CDC Unity Party, so the CPP has a USA chapter. Our USA chapter, they have to meet annually. And since it was just formed, this is their first convention. And therefore, it was required that the CPP, the mother organization, is represented at the highest level. So the standard bearer and the vice standard bearer are fully represented CPP Nigeria. So yes, it's a requirement.
Okay, so you showcase your standard bearer and vice standard bearer to the people, to your constituents in the U.S. Did you also raise money for campaign?
Yes, we raised money for
How much did you raise?
I won't tell you that now because the report is now over, but they raised over $100,000 When it comes to CPP,
You raised over what?
We raised over $100,000.
Okay, over $100,000. Yomli
I
Kanga
cannot tell you
Lawrence,
the
who left
exact
your
amount.
party, also raised, we're told, $100,000 last night at her birthday party for the Unity Party. But we'll talk a little bit about that. But what I want to know from you also is that you are at a convention in the U.S., right? Recently, you were opposed to Senator Yomli Kanga Lawrence going to the states to raise money in the name of Liberty Party for the Unity Party, and you said that you were going to take actions against her. Last night, she at her birthday party, she was named as the campaign spokesperson of the Unity Party. Are you still going to take a stance against her, or has she done what you wanted her to do, or the Unity Party to do?
Last night, I didn't hear anything about Liberty Party. And Yomli Kanga, as an individual, has the right to do whatever she wants to do with her positioning. And I think that's what she has done. Of course, that violates the Liberty Party constitution, but we wait for the campaign to start. If she has accepted to campaign against the CPP candidate, that's a violation of the Liberty Party and the CPP constitution. And that requires that that person be expelled. And we will take the necessary action to expel her in due time. I mean, she has violated.
So I don't understand when you say you're waiting for campaign and you're going to expel her at the necessary, when it's necessary to do that. When is it necessary to do that?
When you sue somebody, or when you go to court, or when you complain someone, or when you take action against someone, it cannot be because the person said they will do it. I cannot take Tete to court for slapping me just because she says she will slap me. She has to slap me before I can sue for being slapped. So the Liberty Party Constitution and the CPP framework document both are very clear that you cannot campaign against, as a partisan of both ANC and Liberty Party, you cannot campaign against a Liberty Party or CPP candidate. Officially, campaign has not started. So if we take an action, what are we taking action for?
Now I get it. So if she campaigns against you, so as it stands, is she a member of the Liberty Party? Do you consider her as a member of the Liberty Party?
Yes, that's why if she campaigns against the CPP candidate, that's what we're going to expel her for, because she stays a member of the Liberty Party, even though she's not political leader of the Liberty Party, but she's a member of the party. The Liberty Party Constitution is very clear about that. So
what is your expulsion of Yomli Kanga Lawrence going to do to her when she, is already saying that she's going to deliver a one-round victory? She's going to campaign and deliver a one-round victory to Joseph Yuma Boakai. What is your expulsion of Yomli Kanga Lawrence going to do to her? How is it going to affect her?
It doesn't matter. For me, it's you violate, you bear the penalty, you move on. I mean,
it's just
it doesn't. It's not about doing anything to her. It's about upholding our constitution. So, hey, you break the law, you pay for it, you move on. So as she is, if she campaign for Joseph Boakai, or she or any one of her followers do that, they will be going again. Just as the Liberty Party did to Darrell Dillon in 2011 when he campaigned for.
So when are you going to name your campaign team also?
The CPP campaign team has been in place for almost a year. You know that.
You're going with the same campaign team?
Yeah. Team Coming is headed by Louis Brown. There's nothing. That's the team. That's the thing that's going to
just Louis Brown. Who else? Who are those on the team? Who are going to deliver Liberia to Cummings?
Tete, do your research. We listed Team Cummings.
Is that same team you're going with and you expect to win elections?
Yes. We will win the election. We'll win the election. Look, let me tell you something about Liberia, and I want you to know this very carefully. Unity Party and the CDC have done the very best what they're able to do, and clearly their best have proven to be nothing. The Liberian people want to see something different. You can't take this country back to the Unity Party under Joseph Boakai. You can't. Joseph Boakai has not shown anything for 12 years as vice president, according to him and his people, for 42 years serving in government, and he cannot point to anything to say, while serving as 42 years, these are my legacy, these are my trademark. So, hey, that's clear. The CDC, as you can see, has failed miserably. So
okay. So what do you say? Because I'm going to leave you under 1 minute. I'm going to leave you under 1 minute. What do you say to critics who say that, the CPP also can only win elections in America or out of Liberia? That's where you have your base. That's where you have your constituents, but you cannot win elections in Liberia. What will be I want you to speak to that in your parting comments.
2017, the CPP is the ANC under Mr. Cummings is not the CPP as of today. 80% of the people that are supporting Cummings today were not supporting him, including Musa Belede, including Louis.
You're just one person. Your people come from the diaspora to register to vote because critics say they are the only ones you're depending on.
A whole lot.
How many of them did you bring?
Yeah, I don't have access to the number because what we register, it's a lot, and you will see them. You saw them. I mean,
and a lot to give you victory, right?
No. What are you talking about? Who do I know from America? Musa Belede, who do I know? Where do I get my constituency from? America? Really? No. I see this.
Where is your constituents? Where is your constituents?
Republic of Liberia.
That is vague, though.
Yes, that is it.
That is vague when you say Republic of Liberia.
Is Liberia vague?
John Blikanga Lawrence will say that, my constituents, my base is, Grand Bassa County. Yes, sir.
That's the difference between the CPP and the Unity Party and CDC.
Okay, so Liberia is
we were not.
I'm so sorry. We will still talk to you.
Yeah.
We have to take leave.
We would not run our politics based on tribe, ethnicity, or other things that have continued to divide this country. We will not do that.
Okay.
If that's what people cling onto to say, so when you win on that, what happened to the rest of the population? So when you decide that, I'm from Lofa is my constituency, or I'm from this place, it's my constituency, and then what happened to the rest of the country?
Okay, Chairman Belete, we will have you some other time on the show to talk about that. Time is fast spent.
But you won the election twice. Where was your constituency? But you won the election twice.
We'll talk to you, more about that later on a later date. You came in very late, and we already have our guests, and so we like to leave it at that. And thanks so much for joining us this evening, and we wish you and the CPP very well.
Thank you very much.
Okay, that's Chairman Belete talking about his standard bearer and vice standard bearer in the U.S. showcasing themselves to their constituents in that part of the world, because according to him, that is a part of, their constitution. And so we go straight into the matters. We have our guests all already waiting. We're taking a short break. When we back, I'll introduce my in-studio guest and my out-of-studio guest. Stay with us. This is Open Conversation.
Tonight and every weeknight, we set the agenda and seek your input on the positive direction of our country.
Open Conversation, a robust, interactive, and analytical current affairs program on ELBC Radio, setting out to critically analyze and review trending issues of our time.
The noise is just too much on the air, and we are here to refine and set the agenda on open conversation.
Let's start the conversation right now. Tonight and every weeknight.
Welcome to Open Conversation right here on ELBC Radio and online. My guests are already ready, and we start the ball rolling this evening on Open Conversation. As I told you earlier, we have with me in studio, my in-studio guest is Josephine Kaluba, a social media influencer, humanitarian, and actress. She runs a popular show online named Coffee with Jojo. And Jojo, we affectionately call her Jojo. Welcome to Open Conversation.
Thank you. It's an honor. Thank you so much.
Okay. Also, Jojo, welcome to Open Conversation.
Thank you. It's an honor. And thank you so much for having me here. It's a privilege.
Okay. And it's really, really nice to have you this evening and on Open Conversation. We also have joining us live on the line via our social media is the Minister of Youth and Sports, Minister D. Zilga Wilson. Welcome to Open Conversation.
Thank you so much.
Also joining us this evening is its representative, the proponent of this bill, Representative Thomas Goshua. Representative Goshua, welcome to Open Conversation.
Thank you, Tete. Thank you for having me.
Great. So, as you know, listeners and viewers, I already introduced Jojo to you, Josephine. She is a social media influencer, and she is this person who deals with people who are addicted to drugs. She has done a lot of work with these people. I like to play a little bit of her work she has done before I come back to Representative Thomas Goshua, who is the proponent of this bill, and we can talk more and then join in with the Minister of Youth and Sports. Let's see what Jojo does with these young people. Just
My name is Josephine Kaluba, but everyone calls me Jojo. I'm a TV host, an event host, social media influencer, and a humanitarian. I'm on a journey as a humanitarian to help as many people as I can from the ghetto. As a social media influencer, I decided to use my platform to speak on drugs, the intake of drugs amongst young people, because I have a lot of young people who follow me. So I decided to use my platform to speak on drugs addiction in our country. The Liberian Civil War is over, but we as Liberians, we are still faced with so many crises, especially drugs addiction. Thousands of Liberians are addicted to drugs, and we need help. In every community, in Monrovia and outside of Monrovia, there are ghettos. Some communities have 5 ghettos, 10 ghettos. And all of those ghettos are filled with young people who should be making decisions in the future. They are wasting in the ghetto, dying every day. This is a call to restore the lost generation. Our generation is lost. Liberians are dying. The youths are dying every day. We need help. Drugs is taking over Liberia. Now it has escalated to something very dangerous. Now they are smoking tar, cocoa, kush, all kinds of drugs. We need help. Liberians need help. The youth of Liberia needs help. And I'm on a journey to help as many people as I can to say no to drugs.
Well, I'm sorry, if you're listening via for the little discussion there, but we're just playing something that Madam Kolwa does with the young people who are involved with drugs. In the wake of, and I like to say that in the wake of the equator of those sentenced to those connected, to the $100 million drug bust, the Ministry of Justice stressed the need for collective action and amendment to the drug law. Now, the legislature has passed that law, making it non-bailable for those importing and distributing such dangerous substance in our country. And so we're going to look deep into that. The person who is behind all of this is the Representative Thomas Goshua, who is with us now live on the line. We'd like to talk to him a little bit. Representative Goshua, welcome back again to Open Conversation. And let's hear from you this evening. What did you have to do to make sure that this bill that was languishing at the legislature since 2019 gets to be passed into law today? What went into it? What is the work that went into it?
Well, let me first say thank you for having me on the platform with Minister Zoga Wilson and Coffee with Jojo. I would like to call her that. And so, sometime in 2019, but before then, I'm part of a group called the Agents of Change, and we usually go out to do advocacy and awareness on the uses and abuses of drugs in Liberia. And at that time, it wasn't as it is now. And so we thought to visit schools, mosques, churches, communities, to just create awareness and the danger that drug poses to not just the young people, but anyone that will be taking it. And on one of our visits, I noticed the number of young people, children as young as 6 years old, in school were being introduced to drug abuse at that very tender age. And it caused so much problem for us at that level. And so since young children at that time and how disturbing it was, I quickly reached out to the LDEA to find out what we could do to help stop the uses of drugs. And I was then informed that they couldn't do anything much because the law at the time was very weak. Every aspect that has to do with drug crime was a billable crime. And so after they made arrest, these people will go over at the courthouse and then they will be released on bail, and that will be the end of the case. Whereas those that effected the arrest, some of them will risk their lives. There will be an exchange of gunfire. Some of them will lose their lives, and it will just be for nothing. And so I thought to see how we could work together to amend the law, give the LDEA some teeth to bite, whereas the law will be stronger, that people that are bringing in these substances will be apprehended and face the full weight of the law. And so we worked in 2019, and we submitted the bill at the end of 2019. And due to some factor, it stayed in committee room for a long period of time. When the House of Representatives finally passed on the drug law, every aspect that had to do with drug crime was billable. Was non-billable. And after we passed on it, we took it over. We were sent over to the House of Senate, and then it stayed for some time. And so we started getting involved with civil society organizations, started getting involved with young people in the vanguard, that were involved with it, creating awareness, and we started to hold workshops, started to hold consultation with other people whilst the law was still with the Senate. And during that period, we started to create awareness on what the law intended. And fortunately, late 2022, the Senate recalled the bill from the committee room, and they had it brought on the floor. But before then, we even went over to see the president pro tempore. We went to see the vice president of Liberia. We have meetings with ECOWAS, the UN Office on Drug and Crime. We have several different stakeholder consultation concerning the issue of drugs in Liberia. And then when the Senate had it on the floor, they made some amendment to what we were proposing, because they thought that those end users, our brothers and sisters, the youth at risk, the at-risk youth, or sometimes we call them Zogo, disadvantaged youth, we saw them as victims. And so they thought that the crime of usage should not be as harsh as the crime of importation and distribution. And so they made some alteration to what was sent to them. And obviously a conference committee was set up. And during the conference time, we were arguing as to the House of Representatives. The representatives were arguing that the law should stay as it is, because even at the end user stage, we still wanted it to be non-billable, because we wanted it to serve as a deterrence, that people that are not on drugs will not have the second thought to get involved with drugs after they know that when they are caught, the crime is non-billable. But during our consultation, we harmonized the document. At the end of the day, we were able to agree that the end users will be considered as victims, and based on a certain quantity of substance that will be found on you at the time, it could be a second-degree felony or a first-degree misdemeanor, that even though it will still be a crime, you'll still be prosecuted, but you have an option to go through rehabilitation, to get detoxified, get vocational skill
you have an option, sorry, I like to hold you there. When you say you have an option to be detoxed, does it mean that the person who is caught has an option whether they want to be detoxed or not, or it will be compulsory that that happens to that person?
Well, compelling someone to go into how do you call it, rehabilitation, the person has to be willing. They have to be.
How do one show willingness to go into rehab when they themselves are involved with drugs and they don't even know that they're dying and they need help?
Right now, why I said that they have to be willing. Throughout my visits to the ghettos and the areas where drug addicts reside, you got there, they will say, oh, we want to lead this team, but we don't know how. We don't know the means. It's expensive for us. And so we will try to give them the right direction. But some of them, because of the criminal nature about it, they form themselves into gangs to go out and terrorize people. They aren't willing. They aren't willing, and in those cases, the law when the law provides now that when you are caught, even though the option is there to go through rehabilitation, but if you aren't willing, you have to face the full weight of the law.
Okay, so what is the main thing in this law? That those who are importing the drugs, if they are caught, they will not be built out, right? Those who are distributing the drugs, when they are caught, they will not be built out as it has been in the past. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay. So those who are the end users will have a right to choose whether to go to rehab or not.
Yeah, they will have the option. Though when you are caught at that point in time, you will have the option to go to rehab. But if you insist that you don't want to go, that's where the law enforcement will come into effect, because apparently you want to continue to do the crime, and in doing these criminal offenses, you must, when you are caught, you must face the law. You will have to go to jail, be prosecuted, and if you are found guilty, you go to jail for not less than 3 to 5 years.
Not less than 3 to 5 years. Okay, great. I like to
That is for the
hold
end users, not the importers and the
yeah, end
distributors.
users. Okay, so let me ask you, how many persons approximately throughout the whole, back and forth you've been doing, how many persons are involved with this whole drug? How many young people? Can you give us a number that you know?
So in one of my conversations with a very intelligent young man called Macho, I forgot his first name. He says that he's the head of the disadvantaged youth across Liberia, and he one time appeared on ELBC where he was interviewed by I think Sober Josh, and he estimated that the total number of at-risk youth in this country is around 250,000.
Okay, that is his estimate, right?
Yes,
But
it's approximate.
okay, great. I like to hold you there. Please stay with us. Before I bring in Jojo, let me bring in the Minister of Youth and Sports, because I heard you talk about rehabilitation, and if people are caught, the end users, they will have an option. Minister Wilson, welcome to Open Conversation again. Minister Wilson, are you hearing us? Oh, well, Minister Wilson doesn't seem to be hearing us. Minister Wilson, are you hearing us? Okay, he doesn't seem to be hearing us.
The network is very bad at my end. So, okay, you hear me?
You're coming in very, very broken. You're coming in very broken. I'm not getting you, Minister Wilson. Can you please change your location?
The network is very bad.
Yeah, it seems to be very terrible on your end. You will have to shift a little bit. Let me just switch a little bit, and then we'll come back to you. I wanted to ask you a few questions as it relates to what Representative Goshua has said, but just change your location, and then we'll come back to you. Let me come back to Jojo. Jojo, welcome again.
Thank you.
Tell us, the bill has been passed by the legislature. You listened to Representative Goshua.
Yes,
And how did you feel? You have been working with young people at risk youth, and did you get any feeling before we come to the kind of work you do when you heard that this bill was passed by the legislature? What feeling did it bring to you?
Thank you for having me, first of all. To an extent, obviously, I felt good about it because it's something that we have all been praying for and hope that, we come this far. So to an extent, yes, I was happy about it.
Why did you decide to work with at-risk youth? A very young woman who should be doing something else, but has decided to. How long have you been working with them? In fact,
almost 2 years now.
Almost 2 years, and you still
Publicly,
have
almost 2 years.
Okay, so what gives you the energy to work with them?
I think this is a reality that we are all faced with.
Okay,
we are all working with them one way or the other. I'm just maybe popular with that, but we are all is a reality that we are all faced with. And I saw the need. It's something that is not in hiding. It's something that I know if I can do 1%, it's going to help. If I can do, or at least I should start with myself. So there's a need that we all wake up, put hands around these people, and see how best we can, help them. Yeah. So it's a need.
So you just woke up one morning and say, you know what, I'm going to help at-risk youth and going to talk to them in the streets. I'm going to talk about their stories. And what kind of work do you do with them?
Okay, so I have a platform on Facebook. I used to be in television doing talk shows and TV hosting and all that. So I built my platform over the year.
Okay.
So I didn't sit and just think about it and like, from today I come and start helping people. It wasn't like that. I've always done this in the background, and we all do. You walking, driving through the traffic, see them on the streets, and just give them $2, $100 LD. At some point I felt like, why can't I add my voice to the many voices out there, and be of help to these people, bigger than just giving them short-term solution to a long-term problem. So why can't I help in my own weak way by using my platform, my voice, people who follow me? Why can't I do that? So it all started that way. Yeah.
What do you want to see happen to at-risk youth in this country?
I want to see freedom. I feel like they are in cage. I feel like they are prisoners to themselves. I want to see them free, as many of them as they can be free.
Can that happen easily?
It's not easy, but if you don't start, you will not finish. So I feel like if we start now, bit by bit, we will get there.
What do you think we should do now?
I think, Nanda, this is a very good and very big thank you to the legislature for passing this law up to the desk of the president. I'm praying and hope that he takes no time to sign this and make sure that is a law. This is a very good step. With that, at least we can tie the borders as much as we can. And with the ones that are on the street now, I think we need radical approach to it.
What is that radical approach, you think?
They say if you want something that you never got before, you have to do what you've never done before. I watched I watched a documentary from, I don't think it was the Philippines, something on YouTube. I watched a documentary where there was these soldiers that went in with trucks to the ghettos and just picking these people. You won't go, you gotta go. They gotta clean up the street. It's getting crazy. So we need radical approach. We pray and hope that it could be, a national emergency.
The president has already, declared this national emergency, and it's before his desk now from the legislature, like you've said, and everybody's saying that President you must, pass this in a 4G faction because we have an emergency as a country. Is Minister Wilson ready to talk to us? I want us to, have a conversation. Minister Wilson, are you there? Are you hearing us? Representative Goshua?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, great. So you just listened to Jojo. Before I come to talk to her a little bit about, where she meets these people and what are some of the conversations she has with them, I want to hear from you. You've been in this back and forth. When it comes to rehab, what do you think should happen? Because when you look at the law and what should happen to the end users, you are also saying that there should be rehab for them. So what is running through your mind? What is government doing as it relates to that?
Well, first, my own idea of rehabilitation is to first change the environment of our brothers and sisters that are in the ghettos and in the street. You get them from where they are now and relocate them to somewhere that they wouldn't have any much of an outside influence. At that facility, there should also be health facilities, health means to be able to get them, because the whole idea of getting off the drug, the addiction is sometimes causes mental problem. And so they aren't in their right minds when they have taken these drugs. And so they have to go through a mental health facility that will get them detoxified, get all of the drugs from within their system. Also, my idea of rehabilitation is after the drugs have been cleared off the system, we wouldn't want a relapse. And so we must be able to train them, give them some kind of vocational skill training or even academic training, depending on their own capacity of ideas. And then after they should have gotten those skills, then they can be reintegrated to society where they can positively contribute to Liberia's growth and development.
That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. But let's see whether we can get the Minister of Youth and Sports who could speak to this, to just what you're saying, Minister Wilson. Too bad, Minister Wilson. Line the network is so bad, but he should be speaking to these issues right now because exactly he deals with the young people of this country. We want to know from him what exactly, now that the law has been passed by the legislature, what exactly they have in store for the young people of this country. So I'm going to read a little bit of this. When the law is passed, the law has been passed, the drug law has been passed. We know that a conference committee was set up from both houses, intended to harmonize the two versions of the bill to make it more robust and meet international standards. That was seeking to enact into law an act to amend Chapter 14 of the new penal law of Liberia under the title "Offense Involving Danger to Person" by adding thereto section that's subchapter E under the title Controlled Drugs and Substance Act of 2014, as now known as Controlled Drugs and Substance Act of 2023. That is what it was known, but now it's Controlled Drugs and Substance Act of 2014. So the Senate's version of the law provides that the cultivation, manufacture, important export, trafficking, and sale of controlled drugs and substance is a first-degree felony as a grave offense and therefore is non-bailable, adding that property's real and proper use in the possession of committing any of these offenses shall excrete to the republic. 25% for the drug enforcement. Okay, so when that is done, when somebody is caught in the committee's report, proceeds from the sale of the properties to the Liberian government shall be appropriated as follows: 25% for the Drug Enforcement Agency, 25% for drug prevention and rehabilitation programs, and 50% to the general revenue of Liberia, stressing that these appropriations of the drug enforcement agencies and the drug prevention and rehabilitation program shall be in addition to any appropriation which shall be made annually by the legislature and in the national budget. Let me come back to you again, Representative. Okay, are you hearing us, Minister Wilson?
Yes, I'm hearing you, but I'm having a problem with my network. Are you hearing me now?
We're hearing you, but very, faint. Yeah, and you're coming in a little bit a little broken again. You listen to, let me see whether I can take you. You listen to, okay, he's gone off again. And so before I come to Jojo, Representative Goshua, this will only happen to monies that will get you whatever property or drugs that is seized from these people or property that is seized. You have appropriated how the money is going to be used. But is it that money that the government is going to be depending on to make sure that we have rehabilitation for these people?
No, not at all. Matter of fact, when the budget is being presented to us after the law, after this bill is signed into law by the president, there should be appropriation within the budget, identifying rehabilitation centers across the country that should be used to cater to our brothers and sisters. And it's good that the president have recently declared these issues relating to drug abuse and getting our brothers and sisters off the street as a national emergency. So we have no doubt that upon his return to the country, he will have signed this into law so that it will be effective with it.
Okay, Jojo, let me come back to you before, we take calls from people who are watching and listening to us. Give us, a little bit of, what you do. Where do you go to meet these people? What do you, meet? What do you encounter on a daily basis when you meet at-risk youth? Is it in the ghetto? You go from ghetto to ghetto. Who informs you that, there is a ghetto here and I must go there? Or how do you get in contact with them?
Ghettos are not hidden. It's everywhere. It's behind my house. It's in front of my house. It's on the side of my house. So ghettos are everywhere. Most times, I send my team ahead.
Oh, you have a team?
I do have a team.
Great.
One person can do this work. I send my team ahead. If I want to go to a ghetto, maybe on the ELW highway, send the team ahead, get there, meet up with a 5-star. You know, these people have a whole government. Meet up with a 5-star, you know, make sure that he understands that Jojo is coming. She want to talk to you. She want to interview you. There's going to be cameras, and make them understand this is what's going to happen. Okay, so I go there and do what I have to do. So, but now I go there. Do you know that I just came from the ghetto?
Really?
Yes, from the ghetto straight here. I've been in the ghetto all through today because it's raining. I wanted to see, and I wanted to interview them on some of these things that we are talking about, and I wanted to see where they sleep. It's ridiculous. The whole place is leaking. The floor is wet. It's crazy. Some of them are sick already. Some of them are almost dying. It's something that is unbearable. When I think about it, I go to sleep. I keep seeing pictures of where I was today, and every time I go back in the ghetto, it's like it's my first time. I can't get used to it. It's crazy.
Wow.
Yes, it's crazy.
So what do they tell you? How do they, do they want help? Do they say to you that they want help?
They do.
Okay. Have you been able, in the 2 years where you've gone public, have you been able to get some people out of, the ghetto? Do you have rehab for them? What do you do with them after talking to them?
Yes, I do have a rehab. I have a rehab. We detox them at the rehab right here at Duboro Junction area. I do have a rehab. Take them from the ghetto, take them through the detoxification and start the pre-recovery from there. So yes, when I go to the ghetto, everyone needs or wants help. At the end of the day, everyone's going to say, oh, I need help, I want help, at the end of the day. But sometimes, like the honorable was saying, sometimes these people are not really, really ready. Some of them are ready, some of them are not. And we cannot force you because it takes the society, it takes the person themselves, and then it takes the clinic or the rehab.
So you agree that we have over 250,000 of them who are doing drugs?
I agree. I think it's more than that, but I can go with that number at this point. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
What do you think is going to happen if these people don't get help?
This is a war.
Okay.
The worst.
Okay. So since we can get the Minister of Youth and Sports on because of the internet or the connection, we're going to have him via, the telephone. We're going to talk to him. Minister Wilson, welcome to the program.
Yes, thank you, City. I'm sorry for the network situation. I've been hearing bits and pieces from the representative and from Jojo. I'm glad to make my contribution via the direction line.
Okay, so this bill is before His Excellency. I actually wanted to help to hear from you when it comes to rehab. What can you say now that the bill is before the president? Where did you meet disadvantaged young people when President Weah took over? What have we done as a government to help these people? And now that this bill has passed from the legislature, what is it you think is going to happen?
Firstly, let me thank the National Legislature office for passing this new drug law. I believe the provision that was amended where the manufacturer and importer of drugs, their crime will be not available, and if guilty, will be imprisoned for life. That is great. I believe the president will sign this bill, but there is more to just sign the bill. We have to create the necessary awareness for the user themselves to understand that there's also
a penalty
on them for the consumption. Before it was one-sided, now at least those are manufacturing the drug. We have a bigger share of the penalty. But we need to create more awareness in the community. We need more education on this. Let people understand what it means. But this is a good move, good step in the right direction. Now, you asked about what the government is doing when it comes to rehabilitation. For the last couple of years, we've been working with our UN partners. And currently, last week Friday, when the president declared the issue of drugs as a national emergency, we have started working with speed. Last week Tuesday, we had a meeting at the Ministry of Youth and Sports chaired by the Ministry of Health. The Ministry of Health chairs the technical working group. Dr. Logan chaired that group. We had a meeting with 39 providers, service providers, people that are catering to the agri youth. And Jojo in studio with you was one of those at a meeting. The providers of information, there was a good discussion here with all the providers. They were very enthusiastic to help the government address this issue. Beginning today, 2 teams started to do assessment at all of these 39 facilities because we want to know their personal information on these facilities. To know how many persons they can take, how many staff they have, what their level of support to the individual. And like the representative said, at the end of the day, we are also going to provide vocational and technical screening to all of these folks. So we are identifying service providers, we are identifying facilities like the ESN, there are other facilities like the ESN, because before any of these folks go to the service provider, depending on their situation, they will have to go to ESN and other facilities for 2 weeks for detoxification. Now, some of them did not need to go through that within a straight to service provider. So as we speak now, the team, 2 teams are in the field doing assessment of these 39 service providers. We are hoping by the end of this week, we get a report and the steering committee will convene and make a decision on the work plan that will be submitted to us. And once we approve that work plan, we are ready to begin taking these folks from the street and putting them through ESN and other facilities for detoxification, or we send them straight to the service provider during that situation. We want to know.
Great move, Minister. I like to, appreciate you for that. But I'm looking at also what you've just said and what the law says concerning the end users. First question. Do you, these 39 service, you call them service providers, yeah, right? They're going to cater to all of these at-risk youth, or you're just talking about Montserrat County? And if you're just talking about Montserrat County, do you have plans for the other counties? Because we have at-risk youths in other counties. That's one. My second question to you also is, how are you going to come to terms with the part of the law that says that, these people must do it willingly? If they're willing to go to rehab, is when they will go to rehab when they are dying themselves, and they can say whether they need rehab or not.
Okay, so let me answer your first question.
Okay.
Currently, there are 4 counties that have service providers. As Montserrat County, as Bombay County, as McGibby County, and as Grand Bassa County. Okay. These are the 4 counties we have identified that have service providers. The 39 service providers I'm talking about are from these 4 counties. That is why our teams are doing assessment in these 4 counties. The Ministry of Health is also reaching out to all of the county health officers to identify service providers in those counties. When they are identified, we begin to do an assessment in those counties too. Now, what the team is working on is, one, we must provide opportunities for the young people to leave the street. We must provide them the opportunities, and the opportunity is for us to take them from provide them voluntary, like you said, to leave the street and go to rehab. That's what the government is starting to do. At some point in time, when folks are refusing, then of course, government has the right at this point in time to say, you can't have objective yet. You can't have this yet. Because at the end of the day, the issue of agri-youth is a national security risk. We have to address that. And so the government provided, along with the government partners in the one U.S. system, we provided all of the support, all of the opportunities. But when folks are refusing, anytime the government will move in to say, get how to get, because we are providing opportunities. You must make use of the opportunities government is providing.
Is the president upbeat about this and will be ready to sign as soon as he gets back in country?
Oh, the president, the issue of young people in this country, their flight is of paramount concern to the president. And trust me, the president, in fact, the president himself led this effort. He took some 45 youth from the Bamuma area. He put them through ESN. He went to Malta, to a table. He went through the entire cycle. And today, 45 students are in vocational schools, and they will be graduating sometime this month. The president said he was leading the way to show us that he was serious. So he took upon himself his own initiative. We have represented 45. The team leaders, 30 men. We went through ESN, we went to Marshall, we went through the whole process, guided by Ministry of Health, and today those folks are in vocational school learning heavy duty mechanic, some doing carpentry, some doing journalism, some doing health science, and they will be graduating sometime this month.
Okay.
So that tells you the president takes this very seriously.
Okay, Minister, just let us hold you there now, and we will soon open up the lines for you to make your input. And before I open the lines, let me, under 1 minute, hear from you, Jojo. You listen to the Minister of Youth and Sports. He says you were one of those people who they're dealing with. Are you excited about that? Do you what do you think about that?
I think we are on the right path. This is a good thing now that the drug law has been passed, and now, you know, for the first time I was called on Tuesday to come at the sports commission. Is it sports
complex?
Youth and Sport. Yeah, we had a meeting. It was successful, and today, actually, this morning, I was called, and they came. They did their assessment at the facility there. So yes, we are on the right path. As long as we keep pushing and doing the right things, I think we're going in the right direction.
Okay, great. So we will open up the lines and you know, entertain your calls on open conversation. We have Jojo. Coffee with Jojo is the way we will, you know, feel comfortable calling her. She's she deals with a lot of at-risk youth. We have the proponent of this bill, Representative Thomas Goshua, and of course you just listened to the Minister of Youth and Sports, Minister D. Zilga Wilson. It's your time to participate. We have our very first caller on the line. Hello. Hello. Good evening. Welcome to Open Conversation.
There is advocating for this particular law to have a pass. So I say, hats up to the legislators for passing such law in Liberia. Our question now is, as Minister Zogia Wilson has said, the president had been is to ensure that the youth are protected and against all forms of drugs and harmful substances in Liberia. We hope that he passes such bill as soon as he gets back, so that we ourselves can keep working and ensuring that those who are the dealers and those who are the importers, they can be apprehended in order to save the future of Liberia. Representative Kosha Kuna has said more than what he said. We have over 200,000 young people that have been destroyed on a daily basis. And the drugs is contributing to the increase of violence, even the domestic violence at homes, even whatever we talk about, they are associated with drugs. So I think what the government has done by passing this bill is very much essential in the fight against these harmful substances. And not only passing it, but we should make sure that when people are apprehended It should not be a friendship deal to say, oh, this is my friend. The people that will be caught should face the full weight of the law in order to ensure that Liberians are protected against it, or else what we are doing, all of our efforts will go down the drain. So thank you very much, and we'll keep advocating, and our eyes are still open, our ears are still open. We'll ensure that whatever should be done rightly to protect Liberia against drugs will be done. Thank you very much.
Thank you also for making your input this evening on Open Conversation. You couldn't have said it any better. Also, well, that person is off the line. You can call us on 080-514-096. The legislature has passed, the drug law. It's before the president, and that law now, if the president signs that, people who are importing drugs, it was a billable offense before, and so if somebody brings drugs into the country, I don't care. About the 100 million drug burst. If it was at that time, then we will be talking something different by now. Yeah. Let's take this caller. Hello.
Yeah, good evening, madam.
Hello, sir. Welcome.
Yeah. Thank you for the show. First, my name is Asimo, and I'm joining from Shorty Bank, the county.
Let's hear you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Let me first say a very big thing to our Thomas Goswa. Because then they love the event and he's a bring that behind it. Let me say a very big thing to him. And additionally, estimate that the use of drugs, around 250,000, so I'm 250 or whatever. But I can assure you, just in branch there alone, drug users are more than 100 plus. On a serious note, are more than it. So, by the return of the president, when it comes to the country, we are offering all to stand up that the also and start take effective action.
Okay.
Thanks for the show.
Thank you so much for joining in on the show. You can also do so by calling us on the numbers. And you're right, people all over the country, and it's good that they're dealing with full counties now. Hopefully they'll get to the other counties. Hello.
Hello. Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. This is Representative Shack.
It's good to have you.
I am one of those that, were instrumental in getting this passed the other day.
Thank you, ma'am.
The issue of the law being passed is one thing, but prevention and response is another. I've listened to the different comments, and I think, we want to really commend JoJo and her program and other service providers who are out there seeking the welfare of our at-risk youth. I come from the experience of post-war, where we were involved in a reintegration process, the DDRR. And the issue of taking our young people away from the influences is very important. And I don't know how many centers are available now, but I think my committee in the House, I chair the Committee on Gender Equity, Child Development, and Social Services. And so we have oversight over the Ministry of Gender, and looking at mental health is one of the areas where we can lend our expertise and support. We have people who worked with us during the DDRR program that Liberia went through, and getting these people on board to come in, because we do not want a Band-Aid situation where you just put a plaster just, to cover the sore from a fly. If you need suturing, it will be suture. And so there are three different things that come into play when it comes to the detox program. We know that physically their bodies are so used to the influence of these drugs in their bodies. And so some of them have to be hospitalized. When that first phase is complete, then we take them to these centers where they will stay and go through psychosocial support, go through skills learning, so that once they are ready to come out and be reintegrated into society, they will be able to do so without that urge of going back to those things that influence.
Makes a lot of sense, Representative Shark. But you're a lawmaker. How much do you think now that with the passage of this law should go in the budget to really cater to what you're saying, because we need rehab for these people. They have to be hospitalized.
Yes, I totally agree. Mm-hmm. And initially, just one center may cost us something like $5 million. Mm-hmm. Because we are talking about their feeding, we're talking about medical care, their personal needs, all of that. So taking somebody away from the street, they are dirty, you have to provide bedding, change of clothes, all of that. I have been through it.
Okay, is the legislature ready to appropriate that kind of money for this process?
If we as a government take this as an emergency, we need to look for it. But there's a sustainability arm to rehab.
Okay.
When these centers are made, they're feeding. Will we continue to buy food? There should be agriculture attached to it. Those very clients, residents, inmates, whatever we want to call them, grow their own food.
Okay. Honorable, I wish we had more time to talk to you concerning this.
Yes, but I just want to, join the public to say all of us from every corner of this country are affected, and we all have to put all hands on deck to find a solution that will be lasting and durable for our young people.
Before I take leave of you, do you think the DDR process was, successful?
In some ways, I had a problem with it because it was short. And so the program that I introduced with DDR was not a 6 weeks or 2 weeks. I introduced it 3 months at first, and then later we did it 9 months.
Okay.
Because, you need time for them to adjust, time for them to trust you, to even tell you their story.
Okay.
And as Jojo said, go to where they are to find them. They will not walk to you.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. No judgment. We have to deal with our kids with love.
Okay.
Thank you.
We are totally out of time, so I will come back to our guests in studio and out of studio to give us their parting comments. Do you agree with, in your parting comments, do you agree with the representative when it comes to catering, for people who are using, or doing drugs? Is it very expensive?
It is very expensive. It's very expensive. Some of these people, I take them from the ghetto with nothing.
So who supports you?
I support me for now. So since we're running out of time, I'm sure we have a whole lot to talk about. Like she was saying, it's expensive. But if we need this, we should forget about how much it costs and start looking for it. Because this have the ability to change our country, the generation to come. So it's expensive, but we can do it if we start now. So I would like to say thank you, and I'm appealing and encouraging our president to please sign this law. Let he sign it so he can pass on and become a law to support, like we started already, to support rehabilitation centers that are already running, and also empower the DEA, because that's very, very important. So yes, now that he has called for national emergency, so passing the law is one thing and implementing it is another thing. So whatever that's going to make us to win this war against Liberia, we need to put our foot down. And it's important that we start now.
Great. It's important that we start now if we want to win the war against drugs in our country. Representative Thomas Gochua, let's hear your parting comments.
Okay. So the issue of fighting drugs in Liberia is a collective one. Being passed by the legislature and to be subsequently signed by the president is just the first step. We need to reach out in advocacy, in creating the necessary awareness as per the law and the negative impact that drug has on our society. We need to start from the family level to the community and then to the larger society. Every citizen should be involved with this, because in my mind, the issue of narcotic substance abuse in Liberia, it doesn't target a person. It targets the future of Liberia, the young people. And I oftentimes told people that if we do not act now, to safeguard the future leaders, there will be no future for the future leaders to lead. And so now that the law is being passed and we're working along with our colleagues from across every spectrum, the civil society organization, this is the best time to do that whilst we are still in our prime, to help save our country from what is imminent doom. And we want to reach out to the Concerned Youth for Progress, the Association of Dream Builders, and the Destiny Recovery Program. These are groups that we've worked with, and we see evidence-based rehabilitation process, wherein they have taken over 200 of our street brothers and sisters off the street and brought them into rehabilitation homes where they have gotten some kind of formal training that they are now positively working to impact lives in Liberia. So we just want to recognize and lastly, we want to say a very big thank you to the AFL Chief of Staff. Even before the passage of the law, matter of fact, the law now provides that if you are desiring of applying for whatever work or school or wherever employment, you have to submit yourself to a drug test and get a clearance.
Right.
And the Army have started to implement that even before the law passed. So immediately this law comes into effect, all public and private institutions will be required to request for drug clearances.
Oh, that's good. So if
Good
you will
news.
have to be, tested and be drug free before you can do anything as a young person, then
Even at schools.
or you go to school, then it's something that is welcoming because people who have intentions now to work or go to school will stay away from drugs. That's a right step in the right direction. Okay, let's hear from Minister Wilson. Let's hear your parting comments. You listen to Representative Shak also. Let's hear your parting comments.
Well, thank you. I did not quite get Representative Goswami, however, I know his efforts to bring us this far is laudable, he and his colleagues. But what I also wanted to add here is that the government of Liberia is working in partnership with the One UN system as well as development partners. And the initial funding from the One UN system is coming from the Peace Building Office. So our entire program will also be centered around peace building, where the young people will be a lot of celebration in the communities, around peace and reconciliation, around conflict resolution, around elections and voting. Everything that has to do with peace is part of the whole process we're going to do with them, whether they are in the facility, and what they are going through. Everything is part of it because there's a whole big package. And want to continue to encourage people to support this effort. The president has said this is a national issue, it's not a political issue. That is why today we got Senator San Joseph. It's part of the process. In fact, the Youth Agriculture Training Center in Denzimbé, the senator is now with our team to clean our home because there where the government earmarked to be renovated to be the national rehabilitation center for our outreach.
Did you say it's in Bensonville?
Yes, the Youth Agriculture Training Center is in Bensonville.
Okay.
It's a center that has been identified to be renovated and transformed into the rehabilitation center.
Okay. Is it work in progress now?
Oh yes, they're working for 160 acres of land. And the agriculture center, so like the honorable said, sustainability is very important for the program. So
before I leave you, how much do you think should be allotted in the budget for this operation?
Well, when we did the initial concept document and the president did the formula in launching, we were looking at 13.8 million for a 2-year period.
13.8 million.
Yes.
Have you raised some of that money?
Including renovation. That was all included.
Have you raised some of that money?
Well, today, when we launched the program, we were able to raise a little over 28,000. The One UN system has pledged or they are committed to 3 million in the next 2 years. The government of Liberia also has pledged 1 million every year. So I think we should be around the number of 5 million so far if everyone meets up with their own commitment so far.
Okay, so as citizens, can we rally also? Is that a good thing? Do you think it's a good thing for us to rally to make sure that this money is raised?
Yeah, the president sees that as a national issue. It is not political. You want to involve everybody, private citizen, organization.
But how are you rallying citizens? Because like you said, it's a national, issue, and everybody, one way or the other, we all are, are connected to somebody who, if your child is not doing drugs, your relative's child is doing drugs. So this is something that people will want to put where they say put your mouth to where your money is, or put your money to where your mouth is, one of the two. So that's what people want to get involved with, want to see that something happens for this country, especially the young people.
Yes, I agree with you. That's why we launched the fundraiser. We wrote almost all the businesses you can think about in this country. And disappointingly, only a few came through. But we're not going to let. We will keep at it. I believe when we get started, other people will see the need to jump in. But for now, I think we're on the right course. And we continue to chart that course to make sure we will take these children off the street in the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay, thank you so much, Minister Zilga Wilson, for joining in on the program tonight.
You're most welcome.
Okay, we'd like to say thank you also to you, Jojo. Thank you so much for taking up your time to sit with us today on Open Conversation on the maiden edition of this program. We highly appreciate that you will make that time, and that means that the people you work with, the young people of this country, they are to your heart, and we appreciate you so much for the work you do. Even though you don't get paid, but you do it because of humanity. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Great. Representative Goshua, thank you so much for joining us this evening on a very short notice on Open Conversation. That tells us that, you had to go beyond. This has been languaging at the legislature since 2019, but you made it your duty to go out there. I like the way you worked with different groups just to make sure that it is passed. It means that you have a heart for the young people of this country. Thank you so much for joining in this evening on Open Conversation.
Thank you so much, Tete. Always my pleasure.
Okay, so join us tomorrow, God willing, at 8 p.m. when we will be here with another fascinating conversation on Open Conversation. My name is Tete Gebro. Thanks for joining. I like to appreciate all of you watching us via our social media page, and hopefully tomorrow we will have you join in on the program to make your calls and tell us how you feel about the conversation and make your input. Thank you so much. Good night.
We set the agenda and seek your input on the positive direction of our country.
Open Conversation, a robust, interactive, and analytical current affairs.